When I'm not reading horror, I'm reading smut. And my latest smutty read is Emily Antoinette's A Guide to Ghosting. My name is James. Welcome to Rotten Reads. Now, A Guide to Ghosting is a standalone entry in Emily Antoinette's Monsters of Moonvale series. And what that basically means is you don't need to read the other books in that series to enjoy this one. The gist of the story is like this. Dot is a ghost who was ghosted while she was alive by Noah, the man who just bought her former house in which she is currently haunting. Now she plans to exact her revenge on Noah by catfishing him through an online dating app. However, things change once she realizes that she can actually physically interact with Noah. Now, Emily does a really good job at establishing the rules and boundaries of her Moonvale universe. Now, in her universe, it's kind of opposite of what you would think. They have an easier time interacting with objects, but have a more difficult time phasing through them. From the very beginning, Dot can interact with her phone, interact with objects around the house. She can cook. She can even eat and drink. And for me, since Emily kind of created those boundaries and presented those rules to the reader, I'm totally okay with that. Now, her writing style is very accessible. It has really good flow. She always rounds out her characters and gives them dimension by providing enough background without bogging it down with unnecessary exposition. And speaking of rounding out her characters, A Guide to Ghosting features not one, but two plus-sized main characters. And being a bigger boy myself, I really appreciate that. I've read a lot of romance books recently, and it feels good to see an MMC that isn't all jacked and covered with tattoos. And it's nice to see a softer main male character. Now, most of Emily's books that I've read, at least so far, feature plus-sized female characters, and this is the first one where she's introduced a plus-sized male main character, as far as I know. Now, the story itself is super cozy. Dot's growth was really sweet, and I think the ending was like chef's kiss. And it's probably the best ending that Emily has written, in my opinion. Now, as for the spice in the book, Emily Antoinette writes what I think is probably like the best spicy scenes I've read.
These go to 11.
I don't know. She just has this way of describing these scenes that I haven't seen anywhere else. Now, as I said earlier, you can read A Guide to Ghosting as a standalone story, but if you want to get into the Monsters of Moonvale series, I do recommend starting with Man-Eater. This is kind of like the prequel to the rest of the series and all the books that are coming. This is a very short novella. It's very low stakes. It's really just a sweet story about how this succubus meets a male witch and they fall in love and have children. And then the story really continues in Behold Her. Now, this is the first book in the Monsters of Moonvale series. The second one is Afterglow. I have that on Kindle. I would like to get a physical copy of that one as well. And she has a few other side stories. And one of them is Escaping the Friend Zone, which I haven't read yet. And then A Guide to Ghosting. Now, I believe she said on her Patreon or in the newsletter that she is working on the third official entry in the Monsters of Moonvale series, and that should be out later this year sometime. She also does alien romances, if that's more your thing, and that's called Space for Love. I believe the first one's called Space for Love. So go check out her books. It's EmilyAntoinette.com, and I will put a link either on the screen and also down in the description. And until next time, my name is James, and you've been watching Rotten Reads.